Our kidneys, they just don't control the urine output, but they also control the blood pressure and the blood volume. Hello everyone, welcome to Bio Lessons. In today's class, we will understand how the kidneys regulate the blood pressure as well as the urine output. Also, we will understand the regulation of kidney function. The kidneys are regulated mainly by hormonal feedback mechanism, and the three main players in this are hypothalamus that releases the ADH, juxtaglomerular apparatus that releases the renin, and heart that releases the ANF. So together these three major systems control the water balance or osmotic balance of the body. They control the blood pressure and maintain the GFR. Let us now learn about each of them individually. Depending on the water level inside the body, we can have two types of situation. One in which there is loss of water or dehydration condition. Second, in which there is more water present than the optimal, called as the overhydration condition. Okay, so whenever there is loss of water or dehydration condition, the blood volume will decrease and the body fluid volume will also decrease. Why? Because the blood is 90 to 92% made up of water, right? Water reduces, blood volume also reduces. Clear? And the osmolarity will increase. Okay, so all these three factors will stimulate the osmoreceptors. Okay, so these osmoreceptors, where are they present? They are present in the hypothalamus, and they lead to the release of the hormone Antidiuretic Hormone or ADH. ADH is released from the neurohypophysis and it directly increases the water reabsorption in distal convoluted tubule as well as the collecting duct. Remember, we have read conditional reabsorption takes place in DCT and collecting tubule. So whenever the body needs to preserve water in case of dehydration situation, more water is reabsorbed there. Okay. Now, what happens to the urine output? Because more water is reabsorbed, so the urine output decreases. That is why ADH, it prevents the diuresis condition. Okay. Extra action of ADH, if you see, ADH is a mild vasoconstrictor and it acts as a generalized vasoconstrictor. So, imagine if we mildly squeeze the blood vessel. What will happen? For the same amount of the blood that is flowing, the pressure it will exert will be a little more because we are squeezing. So the blood pressure will increase, and as the blood pressure increases for the same amount of blood, the glomerular pressure increases, which in turn increases the glomerular flow rate. Okay, so if there is no ADH, what will happen? The kidney perfusion or the amount of fluid that is flowing to the kidney drastically reduces. Also, the BP may fall. Okay, so these are the function of the ADH. Clear about it? The second type of system that is activated under the dehydration condition is the RAAS pathway. RAAS is nothing but Renin-Angiotensin-Aldosterone System. Okay. Now let us look at the first hormone, that is renin. This renin is secreted by the JG cells. Okay. Under what condition? Under the dehydration condition. Okay. So next, let's just see where are these JG cells present. This is the diagram of the nephron. This is the Bowman's capsule. This is the glomerulus. This is afferent arteriole, efferent arteriole, PCT, DCT, loop of Henle, and this is your collecting duct. Okay, so the region where the distal convoluted tubule comes in proximity with the afferent arteriole There, a specialized type of cells are present in the walls of the afferent arteriole. They are known as JG cells. Clear? So JG cells are present on the wall of the afferent arteriole. Okay? In the proximity to JG cells, a special type of cells are also present in the wall of the DCT. They are known as macula densa. Okay? Now, this JG cells present on the afferent arteriole wall and macula densa present on the DCT wall, they together make juxtaglomerular apparatus. And the main function of JGA is, or juxtaglomerular apparatus is, release of renin. Okay? Now you understood that what are the cells responsible for releasing the renin. Now let's look at what does this renin do. This renin acts as a specific vasoconstrictor. Okay. Now renin again leads to a pathway. We will look at it little later, which leads to the specific vasoconstriction. Okay. Now this vasoconstriction is specific for the efferent arteriole, unlike the ADH, which causes generalized vasoconstriction. Okay. Now just look at, if the efferent arteriole is constricted, what will happen? Now if the blood is passing through the afferent arteriole for filtration and the efferent arteriole is narrowed down, the blood stays in the glomerulus for a longer time. Now, as the blood stays in the glomerulus for longer time, what will happen to the GFR? The glomerular hydrostatic pressure will increase. That in turn will increase the GFR. Clear? So that is all about the renin system. Let's now look at the pathway this renin will activate. Let us now look at the complete RAAS pathway. Now, whenever there is dehydration condition or a decrease in BP, decrease in GFR, then JG cells are activated and renin is released. This release of renin converts the inactive angiotensinogen that is secreted by the liver to angiotensin 1. Okay. Now this angiotensin 1 is converted into angiotensin 2 by the enzyme angiotensin converting enzyme, or ACE, that is secreted by the lungs. Okay. Now this angiotensin 2 is a powerful vasoconstrictor and it causes specific vasoconstriction of the efferent arteriole that we looked in the previous slide. Now, are you clear about the entire RAAS pathway? In the RAAS pathway, we looked into the action of renin, angiotensin. Now, let's look at the action of aldosterone. Okay. Angiotensin 2, which is released in the RAAS pathway, in addition to being a vasoconstrictor, it also causes stimulation of adrenal cortex. This in turn releases the hormone aldosterone. Okay. Now what does this aldosterone do? Under the dehydration condition, the aldosterone release causes activation of the sodium plus channel in the distal convoluted tubule as well as the collecting duct. Okay, so what will happen? More sodium plus ions are drawn from the filtrate into the blood. Okay, so what will happen next? As the sodium plus ions move into the blood, what will happen to the osmolarity of the blood? The osmolarity of the blood will increase, and this increase in the osmolarity of the blood causes the water to flow from the DCT into the blood. Okay, so ultimately what are we doing here? We are conserving the loss of the water from the DCT and collecting tubule, or more water is being reabsorbed due to the action of the aldosterone into the blood. And how is that happening? This is happening because of the increased sodium ion reabsorption. Okay. Also, simultaneously what is happening, because we have to maintain the ionic balance, as sodium plus is reabsorbed, K plus ion is secreted in the urine. Okay. So, in dehydration condition, aldosterone acts by increasing sodium plus reabsorption as well as water reabsorption. Okay. Simultaneously, K plus is secreted in the urine. And what is the ultimate effect of this? There is increase in GFR. Urine output is less in the dehydration condition. Also, the blood pressure increases, thereby maintaining the homeostasis in the body. Okay. So that's all about the aldosterone action. I'm sure you are now clear with the RAAS pathway. We already looked into dehydration situation, but imagine a condition where the body has more water than that of which it optimally needs, or simply the body is overhydrated. Under such condition, the increased water volume present increases the blood volume, which in turn increases the blood flow into the right atrium, causing its stretching. This stretching of the right atrium causes the cardiac muscle cells to release a special hormone which is called ANF. ANF is nothing but Atrial Natriuretic Factor. And where does it act? It acts on the DCT and the collecting duct. And its main function is inhibiting the sodium reabsorption in the kidney. So as the sodium ions present in the DCT or collecting duct, it's not reabsorbed by the blood. So what will happen? Concentration of solutes here increases, which in turn increases the osmolarity. This increased osmolarity causes the water to be pulled from the blood into the DCT or the collecting duct. This flow of water further increases the urine output, which is otherwise called as diuresis. Okay, so ANF, it simply makes the kidneys to excrete more Na plus and water, thus lowering the blood volume as well as the BP. Okay, so if you see, ANF acts just opposite to the RAS, and it causes the vasodilation. Okay, so action of ANF is opposite to RAS. Are you clear about this? Let us now summarize the main idea. In the dehydration condition, ADH, renin and aldosterone are produced by the body, which in turn reduce the urine output. And whenever the body is overhydrated, ANF or atrial natriuretic factor is released, which in turn increases the urine output. Okay. Now this ADH is released by the hypothalamus, renin by the juxtaglomerulary cells, aldosterone by the adrenal cortex, and ANF by the atria of the heart. The main function of ADH is reabsorption of water from the DCT and collecting duct. Renin, it leads to formation of angiotensin 2, which is a powerful vasoconstrictor, and it leads to the increased GFR. Okay. How does aldosterone act? It increases the sodium plus reabsorption from the body and leads to secretion of more K plus in the urine. Okay. The action of ANF is just opposite of RAS, and it inhibits the sodium plus reabsorption in the blood, and hence causing the more amount of water released in the urine or diuresis. Coming to the effect on BP, ADH, renin, aldosterone, they increase the BP of the body, whereas ANF reduces the BP. So I hope you are clear about the action of the 4 important hormones. Let us now look at some of the important NCERT lines. ADH is also called as vasopressin. And what is angiotensin 2? It is a powerful vasoconstrictor, right? The main action of aldosterone, it is increased sodium reabsorption. Okay, ANF acts just opposite of RAAS and hence acts as a check. It causes vasodilation. Remember, RAAS causes vasoconstriction, ANF causes vasodilation. Final tip which I want to give you is RAAS increases the BP, whereas ANF acts just the opposite and decreases the BP. Remember, the main function of ADH is water conservation. Increasing the BP comes as a side role, right? Now, I hope you are very clear about the concept today. If you found this video to be helpful, please do like the video, subscribe to my channel, share with my friends, and if you have any queries, please feel free to contact me. I would be very happy to answer. Thank you everyone. Have a very good day.